Some of the best advice that I could give any new traders that are wanting to get into trading is not to go on YouTube and try to look up how to trade a million things. Or if you wanted some advice, I can tell you which people I would recommend to watch on YouTube. The problem with this is there's so many scammers out there, like a lot of scammers. People that look like they know what they're doing, but to be honest, they really don't. They're just trying to make money off you by selling content. And so you gotta be really careful with that because the problem with that is when you start watching YouTube videos on how to trade, you're starting to instill some practices within you that actually might not be helpful, and then it actually hurts you in the long run. That was my biggest mistake. That's why I'm doing this, is because I want people to have access to trading um, content and trading education, that is actually gonna be helpful and not set them back because I was set back multiple years just because I didn't know where to look. I honestly was set back quite a lot just due to the fact that, I had to unlearn a lot of things from a lot of things that I learned on YouTube. So, my goal for this training is to be able to show you guys what you actually need to start trading. So I'm gonna go through some of the basics again, briefly over this this first bit of our training. We'll go over the basics, and then we'll jump into some of the fun stuff. I'm gonna go through these basics really quickly. The reason why is because I have been putting free content out there on YouTube already. If you're not familiar with that, I'll quickly show you how to access it because I've had a few people asking how to actually access the free content. I'll give you a quick run through of our Discord channel and how to access that. Here on the Discord channel, our general chat, I'm in the general chat. This is where I was gonna put, you know, to be honest, it takes too much time to write out all these signals, and so I'll usually just say I'm going long or short in the general chat, just so it's quicker. But if you have any trading questions at the end of this course, you can always come in here and ask me directly any questions that you have. You can post, as you can see, people have done this plenty of times. You can post photos of what you're doing, and then I'll even reply back with what to look out for, maybe what to change. So no question's a bad question. My goal, like I said, I just want to help this trading community and really stop people getting caught up in all the scam. This industry can be there's there's quite a lot of people that want to try to scam you for money and different things. So I just want to try to help play my part in that. And so this is all free, completely free. Direct access to a free mentor. I'm basically mentoring you for free, which is cool. So you can go ahead and do that if you like. Um, I would highly suggest screenshotting some of your what you're trying to communicate to me, and I'll let you know what to look out for. If you guys win, or if you start placing trades, feel free to post them in here so I can see and we can celebrate together. Different things like that. General chat. If you go down here to our lesson library, you'll see our lesson videos. These are quality videos. It may seem really mundane and straight to the point, but like I said, I'm trying to give you guys content that actually works. This was one of our last live training trading sessions. It was called the Trading Essentials. It was one of our free courses that we did. I would encourage you after this session to go back and watch this because I'm going to go through a lot of the basics fairly quickly. So just go ahead and go back to this video here and watch that a million times. Now, this is the thing with trading. Watching one video or doing one session is not going to make you a profitable trader. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be the trader to lie to you and tell you this is the video, this is the only video you need to be successful in trading. It is not the truth. You have to watch these videos over and over and over again. And I'm not saying that to you to get views up. That actually does not help me at all, doesn't really add to my view count or do anything crazy for me at all. I'm telling you this to tell you the truth that trading is hard. It is not easy. It takes time. It could take 3 months. It could take 4 years. I'm just being completely honest and transparent with you guys. Trading is not easy. And unfortunately, with trading, it could be different for a lot of people. The things that I teach today could maybe not work for you, and that is okay. I will say that what I'm teaching can work for everyone. Um, but you got to figure out what specifically works for you, what works with your personality. Are you someone that is patient? Are you patient enough to wait for a trade? For me, I'm not. I struggle to be patient. I wanna look at a market and get in right away. Now, the style of trading that I've been teaching has actually needed you to be fairly patient. The reason why is because this is a kind of like a bulletproof strategy that I've been teaching. Now, with my strategy, it's a lot more aggressive. I can look at a market for 5 seconds and pretty much make a decision whether I'm gonna be in or out, if I'm yeah. So different trading styles work for different types of personalities and people and disciplines. You have to be disciplined to be a trader. I can't say this enough. My strategy is a high win rate strategy, but unfortunately, there's been times I've blown accounts just because I haven't been patient. Because I'll give you an example. There was a week where I was sick. I was extremely sick. Didn't have a lot of sleep, and I was bored. And those are like a recipe for disaster. I blew probably $7,500 in one day because I wasn't following my strategy, because I was sick, I wasn't thinking straight, I was tired, and I was bored, and I didn't care. I wasn't following my strategy at all, like, literally at all. Blew my account, but the good news is I can make that money in a day. I can make that money in a week. It's not a problem if I'm just disciplined, you know? And I'm still profitable. Luckily, there you don't have to, like, um you can blow money in a day and still make money overall in a week. You also have to get used to that. Sometimes you might not win every single day. There's been days where I've won weeks in a row every single day. But you got to get comfortable with, hey, you're going to have some red days, you're going to have some green days, as long as your green days are bigger than your red days. And that's also another mental thing that you have to uh, accomplish or uh, conquer as well. These are quality videos. They're pretty much in the order that you need to watch them from. So, trading essentials, broker and platform, candles, market structure, live trading lesson. So, feel free to go back and watch those. I haven't really promoted this, and I'm not going to really promote it. I do have people that have asked. I do have a paid section. I don't do it for the paid section. I always tell people don't do it unless you're 100% serious on wanting to take trading seriously. Um, I do have this paid section where you can go to my website and I do one-on-one mentorship. The reason why I charge is because I was doing a few free ones, and a lot of people got a lot out of it, which was good. The problem is it just takes a lot of my time, and I just can't always give all of my time completely for free. I'll be straight to the point. It isn't cheap because what I'm teaching is, you know, could make you thousands of dollars, and the amount of time that it's taking out of my time, I could be making a lot more money trading. And so it isn't cheap. I'll be straightforward, but I'm going to be completely clear. You can learn how to trade with the free stuff that I'm giving. So, like I said, I'm not promoting this. I don't need this. It's just there are people that are asking, excuse me, there are a lot of people that are asking for it. So I wanted to provide that if people are wanting it. This will help you fast track your trading. I would only do this if you're 100% serious on doing this long term, like you're committing to this long term. Um, yeah, I'll say that. So that's that. Tons of free stuff here. Take advantage of it. Hopefully you guys, yeah, really take advantage of it and get something out of that, which will be good. So there we go. Okay, I can see the chat now. Sweet. I'm glad you've been watching our YouTube channels. That's great. It's free, and honestly, it's the best place to go. Like I said, be cautious who you watch with other people because it can really affect your trading. Okay, we're gonna jump into it, straight into it. Hopefully, this is gonna be helpful. If this is helpful, please let me know. If there's things that aren't helpful, please let me know as well. My goal is to make this uh, the best content for you guys and actually be helpful. So, this is the fun stuff. I'm going to jump through a lot of the basics very quickly. And if it doesn't make sense, please let me know. The first thing that we need to start out with is this is what a chart looks like. Now, this is my personal chart. Yours might look a little different, but this is what a chart looks like. Here we go. We've got on my screen, you can actually change the candle colors. I like blue and red. Most of the time, it's green and red. But if you see, so when I speak about candles, these are called candles here. all these bars. When I speak about candles, um, I might just use the colors green and red just so that it stays really basic and you guys can understand it fairly well. So we've got green and red candles, technically blue, but green and red. And red candles mean that the market's moving down. Green candles or these blue candles, as you can see, means the market's moving up. Now, when you're looking at a candle, knowing how candles work and what they do are really important. Now, you can go back to my candles YouTube video and really dive deeper into that. We're not going to go too deep into it, but the bottom of a green candle is an open of the candle. That's where the candle begins. The top of the green candle is the close, and then it's the opposite for a red candle. The red candle, the top is the open. That's where the candle begins. The bottom is where it closes. You have bodies, which is the rectangle part, and then you have wicks, which is the little skinny lines at the top. So you got the open of this candle, close of this candle. You got wicks here. That just shows where price has gone, where it's moved. So as you can see with this candle here, price went opened here, moved all the way down here, and then closed up here for a green or red candle or green candle, sorry, or blue candle, as you can see. Um, I might just quickly, so it's not confusing for anybody, just quickly change this to green, just so we're not confusing people. Um, okay, so red down, green up. The market moves in 3 different ways, all right? And like I said, I'm going through this very quickly. It moves in an uptrend, it moves in downtrends, and it also moves in what we call consolidation or sideways movement. Um, we have uptrend, downtrend, or consolidating. So here we go. Here's the uptrend here in this box. That's an uptrend. That's a downtrend. And then consolidation, this would be consolidation. Now, this is the thing you got to realize is the market doesn't just move like this here within this box. The market will move up, retrace a little bit, move up, retrace a little bit, or it might even do something similar to like this. The market could do this. Um, let's say the market is in an uptrend. So it goes up, but then it comes back and then it goes up a little bit and then it comes down more and then it goes up and then it comes back down and then it comes down a little bit more and up and then down and then it goes back up. This is still considered an uptrend, even though it's not moving as clean as this one is here. The market needs to move up and then as it's moving up in an uptrend, it needs to retrace. So the market isn't always just going to go straight up or straight down. Now, when you look at my videos and you see the market like last night's video, last night's trade, it pretty much just shot straight down. That's just because I'm looking at moves within a bigger picture move, right? We were in a downtrend move. Let's see if I can find that trade I took. I called this trade out perfectly yesterday as well. And I think I even said that this was going to be a home run move. This thing went all the way up to 23K. I mean, this was a home run here. I just didn't stay in because I was done trading for the day, but I called it. Um, when you're looking at these boxes, let me quickly explain this. This green part, this means you're in the money. This red part means you're in drawdown. Just so everyone knows, at the bottom of this red line is where I'd probably put a stop loss, which is basically a order that says if price gets to that level, I want it to take me out of the trade. So I lose the trade. So I could say, okay, down here, I want this to be negative. I want to risk $1,000, right? Let's say down here, I want to risk $1,000. If price comes down to this line here, this level here, I want to be out 1,000 bucks. Let's say though, if price, but that means this distance here. So let's go ahead and I'll show you here. That means this distance here, this distance, if we multiply this distance, so there, there, I'm making $1,000 however much distance this is covering because that's how much I've risked. So that means I would have made, you don't have to do this to show this, but I'm just using it to really make it really clear. That means I would have made one, two, three, four, $5,000 and only risked $1,000 to make 5 grand, basically. Um, there we go. That's the basics of we have consolidating, which means markets just bouncing between two areas. Now, a quick tip that is going to be really amazing. That honestly is a game changer, and I'm giving you this for free. Is oftentimes when you see a market consolidating. So here we have some consolidation from that level to that level. Um, Whenever we see a market consolidating, and you can draw it from the low, the furthest low, and the highest high, or you could even draw it from the majority of touch points from the body, which would be there, and then I'll probably put it somewhere there. You could do that. For this example, we'll just keep it at the low and the high, because what was happening was price was just kind of bouncing within this box. The cool thing about consolidation is once you have a break out of that consolidation, there is a high probability in a strong break like this was a pretty big candle. Um, Once you have a break out of that consolidation, you can actually multiply this box, copy this box, and place it underneath the box there. And there's a high chance price will end up continuing the distance that it consolidated. The way I like to talk about consolidation or view consolidation. So how that would have worked is how I would have taken a trade in this instance. I would copy and paste this, paste it underneath there. So I know there's a high probability price is going to go to this level here, right there. Right. So we can delete this box now. And what I'm going to do is wait for a closure out of underneath this last low. We get a strong closure of this candle. A closure is when the candle closes. So we have a close, a body close there. I'm going to enter for a sell. Bang. And then what I'm going to do is only be aiming. I can risk right above that candle high there and aim for potentially this low there or that there. Or what you could do is actually look for structure in the market, which is this is the last low over here on the left. You just look left from previous price history. We could put a line here. And all you're looking for is not necessarily for it to touch this level, but for it to get close to this level. Once it starts getting close to this level, I'd be looking to get out. And so you could look at something like that. You could try to get out somewhere in here. You probably won't get out perfectly there, but I would just be looking at for it to fill this gap here. You see this gap in the market, which it did. Once it fills that, I would probably be looking to get out of the trade. But as you can see here, you could risk $1,000 and make 2,750 off this trade and not even be in drawdown. As you can see, the price didn't even go into the negative at all. That was a completely risk-free trade. There was absolutely no risk. I mean, you're always taking a risk whenever you're trading, but you ended up not going into drawdown at all. So that's like honestly, that's gold knowledge if you take advantage and learn how to trade something like that. I don't trade that often. I'll be completely transparent. But once again, look, I mean, I can show you this all day. We have consolidation here. Now, what we're going to do is copy and paste this box. Now, we didn't get a clean closure here below that level, but what did price do? It went all the way back down to this level here. So you can try to trade that aggressive and not wait for a closure and just wait for price to look aggressive. Like we have a pretty aggressive red candle closure here. And it did close below the bodies, which is a good hint as well. I would probably take a trade still like that somewhere in here and just because I'm a pretty aggressive trader and just risk right above that candle close and risk a 1 to 2 for $1,000. Risk if I risk $1,000, made 2,000, and once again, not a single second in drawdown. Went straight to my TP. I wasn't even planning to teach this, but it's thought it'd be helpful. Something cool to learn. So that's a simple strategy that you can take advantage of. You're just looking for consolidation. That's the power of consolidation. People are like, you can't trade consolidation. I wouldn't trade within it. It can be a bit crazy. I honestly lose a lot of money quite often when I try to trade. I'll just be straight to the point. When I try to trade consolidation, it is a lot easier to trade a trending market. Now, how do you determine a trending market? I'm going to give you guys some content, some knowledge that has been very helpful for me. But let me first make sure that I've covered a lot of the basics real quick. There's nothing else I need to really talk about. You can always go back to my other videos that really go in depth with some of these basics, which is cool. I want to actually start teaching some charting work, which is a bit more advanced, but I'm going to actually teach you guys some stuff that I've caught. Like, I think I made $3,500 doing this. Now, if you don't know how to cancel, if you don't know how to go around a chart, move around a chart like I am now, you have time frames that are up here. I'm not going into depth with these. Like this lesson is not necessarily a beginner, completely beginner lesson. Um, and the live will go till for another, at least for another hour. Um, and we may upload it to YouTube. We'll see. I'm not sure, Josh, but we'll see. Sometimes I've had some issues with our recording system, so it's been a bit of a pain. Um, okay, I'm gonna teach you guys how I made 3,500 on my biggest trade, and it was actually using this strategy. What I tend to do, and this is honestly gold here, to know, is this revolutionized my trading and my profitability and my win rate success is when I just started adding this to my trading. What I've done is I've just looked at a higher time frame. Now I scalp, and what that is basically I'm in and out quickly. I talk about this in my other videos as well. I'm in and out very quickly. It's a much quicker. There's a lot more noise, as you can see, a lot of wicks and just a lot more noise. But this is the type of market that I trade that you see right here. Now, when you go to a higher time frame, it's a lot cleaner. You can kind of see what price is actually doing. As you can see, it's moving up. We're in an uptrend at the moment. And what I like to do is draw some uptrend lines. So this just shows that we're in an uptrend. Right now, this shows me that price is hanging around this trend line. So it's telling me, okay, we see some consolidation here. This could mean two things in a higher time frame in a daily candle. So one candle represents 24 hours right now. This tells me that it could bounce up. We could see a pretty big bounce next week when the market opens again. Or price might want to break below here, might want to break below, bounce and tap this trend line again, and then shoot down. That's pretty much what price could look like for the next week. Right now, price has been really pushing up, and we're at all-time highs at the moment. So there is a good chance that price might want to go ahead and tap this line and push up, continue up. Um, but what I like to do is this. This is the key that has revolutionized my trading. Is I just try to determine. I like to imagine how this candle is going to close. That's it. So I look at the daily time frame and I go, okay, the current daily candle that I'm in, that I'm trading, what is the probability that it will close red or it'll close green? What's the probability? And so what I do is, for example, let's go ahead and take this back a bit. Let's say we're here and we're looking at this price action. We know that there's resistance here, right? Candle went up and closed. It didn't go past this level. Now, unfortunately, we can't go backwards and look at, what price has done in the past. We can only look at what price is doing now. Why? Because we're at an all-time high, right? So there's no history we can look at. When we look at the past, most of the time you can actually see what price has done in the past, and it repeats itself. Price likes to repeat itself. So a level that was a level for a previous area. So here we go. This bounced off of here not once, but twice, three times. And what happened? Price broke through, came back, bounced, shot up. I mean, it just repeated what it did in the past. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and add that as a level. And so then what I would do is once price ends up coming back up to this level, and I would also add this as a level here. And all I'm gonna do is just see how price reacts, how it responds to these areas. So um, if I was to look at this, price closed bearish, red. Bearish means red. So there's a high chance that this green candle could close bearish. Now, I don't think it ends up closing bearish. It ends up, oh wait, sorry. Yeah, this green candle closed green, which tells me we still have a lot of buyers. And so look what happened here. This green candle closed very bullish. Now, since it did not close above that level, that would tell me that we have a lot of sellers here. There's a lot of sellers in this area. So with this daily candle, I wouldn't be looking necessarily to go long. I would look for price to kind of maybe tap up in here a little bit. So right when it opens, candle opens, the daily candle opens to tap and then come down. Let's see what it does. And as you see, it went up a little bit, tapped that area, and it closed bearish. And so all I'm doing is I'm looking at what price is doing and trying to work out what is the probability that it's going to close bullish or bearish. And then I'll go down to a smaller time frame and look for a trade, determining how that would how that would work out for me. So if I'm looking for it to be bullish, I'm looking for buys. I'm looking for buy opportunities. If I'm thinking that the candle is going to be bearish, I'm looking for sell opportunities. Okay, now I'm going to teach you guys how I made all that money, that $3,500. I just had to show you that real quick. Um, this is really important as well. I'm teaching you guys honestly such great content here that's going to help really revolutionize your trading. Most of the time, I'll always keep an eye on the 4 hour because I don't want to be in a trade longer than 4 hours. So I'm trading within a 4 hour candle. I'll look at the daily, but then I really keep an eye on the 4 hour and the 1 hour candle, just to see what price is doing. Um, so what I do. So the reason why I made a lot of money on that $3,500 trade the other month, I think it was actually in here. It was here. This is where I made the $3,500 trade. Now, what I did was price was here. Let me replay this so that you guys can see what I saw when I was trading. Price was here. Now, obviously, we are in an overall downtrend. Okay. So this is what we're looking at the moment. Now, we have 2 touch points here that confirms to me we're in a trend, a solid trend there, and then we go into an even steeper trend there, okay? And all I'm doing is using lines to help it make it clear to me to see what price is doing. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to touch perfectly, it just needs to kinda show you, give you a visual of what price is doing. So we're in a downtrend, overall downtrend, um, at the moment. And I started to realize that we might be breaking this downtrend because why? We might be breaking this downtrend because if you look here, this steeper trend ended up breaking right at this level. It bounced, it came here, bounced, came back up, bounced, respected this steeper trend line, came back up, bounced, but then we have a really strong candle closure here. And and then what I did was I'm pretty sure I actually got in somewhere in here. It was a crazy trade. Yeah, I think I got in somewhere here. And all I did, I think I got in somewhere like somewhere there. And then I think I ran, it was a much tighter stop loss. It was something like 100 ticks, something crazy. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. Hold on. I got in there. That's where I got in. So I got in on this candle here. Um, and the reason why was because of this strong bullish push. We already had a bounce of this trend line and a bounce of this trend line. And I was looking to take this up to, I got out early. I got out, I think at 100. Yeah, I got out 1,076 ticks, somewhere there, which as you can see, I only risked, I actually think I only risked about 50 ticks. It was crazy. Yeah, I risked about 50 ticks. So that's how much I risked, somewhere in there. That's what the trade looked like. Um, and then the reason why I took this trade is because if you look at price, now this is gold. If you look at price, whenever you see um, candles like this is what people call a fair value gap. Now, I don't use that. I don't use that language, those terms. A lot of these terms come from a trader concept or trading style called ICT. I don't trade ICT. I don't think it works. I think it works for some people, which is fine. For me, it doesn't work. Um, and it's very, really complicated. And I want to make trading very simple. I don't want to overcomplicate trading. Um, and so, um, this is what we call a fair value gap, which basically means is there's no wicks covering this area. So there's just a big gap here from the body. As you can see here, look, we have a big push down, but this wicks, there's no free space. There's a wick here and there's a wick here that covers the whole body of this candle. So there's no space. There's no free space. Now we have a gap here. We have a gap there, but then price ends up filling that space again. The reason why I'm telling you this is because what the market likes to do, and even here you see this gap, the market comes, fills that gap, and then comes back down. Price naturally wants to fill gaps. Now, I like to call this not a gap, I call this an imbalance. Okay. Price wants to, we got some imbalances here. It's not balanced out yet, right? The way it's balanced out is if price comes and covers that price again. So as we can see, price came back up and filled this space here, fills the space. But then, we have another imbalance created here, right? Because there's no wicks covering that space. It's just like a big push. The way to think about imbalances is it's just a strong push. Price does not return to this area again yet, hasn't returned. So now we have another imbalance here. But what does price do? It fills it and then pushes back and continues back up to what it was doing. Price likes to fill imbalances. This is like gold to understand. Um, and so what I realized was if we look here, we have massive imbalance, huge imbalance. There, we've got an imbalance from that wick to that wick. There, we've got an imbalance. Um, no, this is not an imbalance here because why? Price filled it already. Price came back, filled it. Now, if price does not break above the imbalance, there's a good chance price will continue down. And when I mean break, it's the candle closure, the body closure. Body did not close above this imbalance here, and so it pushed down. So I would be looking for sells there. So imbalances are really powerful to use and to trade with. But as you can see, we have a free imbalance there. We have an imbalance there, and this area is balanced out already, right? This is a consolidating area. Once again, what we talked about earlier. You remember the power of consolidation? This area consolidated for a bit, and what happened? We have the break below this area. Now, we would've been stopped out on this, unfortunately. You would've gotten stopped out on this unless you ran a bigger stop loss, um, which you could draw a trend line and put your stop loss above that level, but with the way I just taught it earlier, you would've been stopped out from this, but you could put a trade once you get a closure there, and then put your stop loss above there. I wouldn't take this because this is 576 ticks. This is a higher time frame trade. You're risking too much potentially, but because I scalp. But that's like a trade you could do, or you could put it above the trend line here because you know that there's a chance price could try to tap that trend line, but that's only a 1 to 3, which is fine still. Some people don't like one-on-ones. I do. I don't mind it. If it's a high win rate trade, why not take it? Um, but this is a trade I actually took and made $3,500. Um, what I realized was we had a strong push. We've already tested this trend line multiple times. We even have space for this trend line here to be tapped again, this overall big picture trend line. And we have a lot of imbalances here. So many imbalances. So this tells me price is going to want to fill this area. Why? Because price always wants to cover itself. It always wants to cover its imbalances. And so I took that trade. As you can see, this thing just pumped and I got out once it got close to this trend line, basically. I didn't want to risk it reversing. Um, but oftentimes, this is so key. And I know you'll guys see my trading, and all of a sudden, like there's some trades where I will win in a matter of seconds or very quickly. The reason why is because when price wants to fill a gap or an imbalance, it usually wants to fill it really quickly. Um, and so as you can see, it was on a mission to fill this gap. It just pumped up, and I wasn't really in drawdown at all. I don't know exactly what my exact entry was, but it was somewhere in here, and I know I risked about 50 ticks. Um, and so even with this, so this is a 1 to 21. If I risked a grand, now I didn't risk that much money um, because I was scaling out of it pretty rapidly. I was taking profits as we go, but if I held it completely and I risked $1,000, I would have made $21,000 off this trade because this is a 1 to 21. So I would have made $21,100 basically. Now I do think this continues up. I'm going to teach you another thing that's crazy. So here we go. We have touch A, B. Now usually when we have touch C on a trend line, usually price will sometimes give you a fake out. It might usually come above it a little bit and then continue back down. I can't remember what this did, to be honest. I know we just looked at it, but I genuinely can't remember. I think it continued up. Um, but the reason why I would think it continued up, I actually don't know. I can't remember. Uh, the reason why I would think it continued up is because we don't have any structure here, right? This is another thing to keep in mind. It's all red candles. Price is going to want to fill all these red candles eventually. And so what I tend to do is I'll put a line here and say, you'll see in my chat a lot of times I'll say, oh, there's a good check. Like last night. Last night I made a call saying that price is going to want to go up to 940. When I'm talking about 940, I'm only talking about these last three numbers. I think we're in the 23,000. Price currently is way up here somewhere. Um, we've gone back in time. This was in September 12th, somewhere in there. That's what we're trading at the moment. I'm showing you guys. Um, but the reason why I would even think price might break through this trend line is because we have this big imbalance. This whole move I would consider an imbalance just because there's no structure. Price is going to want to continue through that. So there's nothing that's stopping us from continuing up, basically. Whenever you have a green and red candle, that is what we call it as structure, right? So we got structure there. We've got structure, a lot of structure in this area here. So I'm using a box because it's not like perfect, but it's somewhere in there because, right, we have a bounce there, bounce there, bounce there, bounce there. But there's no bounces in this current price action here where price is trading. So I would make a strong guess, and I generally don't know. I promise you, I do not know. I would make a strong guess that we still have an imbalance here that needs to be filled. So I would think that price is at least going to come up to this area potentially, up in this area to fill this imbalance. But I would have a strong guess that price is at least going to come up to the 700s here. It's going to test the 700s. I don't know exactly when. I would like it to be now. I mean, but at some point, fairly soon, I would think price is going to come into this level. So I would take a guess, a probability guess, like a good educated guess that price is going to break this trend line. I cannot remember if it did. I think it did. We'll see. Okay, so we get a little bit of a bounce. So that there would freak me out a little bit if I'm holding this. As I said, when I actually took this trade, I didn't hold it. I got out. So that's probably a reason why I got out there, because that would tell me that prices might want to continue down. See, look, it's respecting that trend line, but bang, strong candle closure above that trend line. Does that mean I get in to try to fill up to the 700s? No. I might wait for a retest of this trend line to show me that there's strength to the upside still. It might not come back down. I don't know what it did. Okay, see, we have a little bit of a push down. Now, as you can see, it's created a imbalance. Price from that gap there. Price is going to want to tap into this area eventually. I don't know when. It could continue straight up for ages and not come back down and tap this area for months. Who knows? But because it's created an imbalance here, I would like to wait for this to either tap this trend line still or maybe tap this imbalance again to go up. But because there's a big wick and it's closed with a big wick, I could potentially look for a buy here to the upside. It just means I'd have to have a really big stop loss, which I don't like. So I would probably wait a little bit longer. That doesn't tell me much. Price is showing me strong bullish momentum. So I could maybe say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get in now. It is risky, but what we do know is, so since it came back and tested this level, I would have gotten in at somewhere here. Like I said earlier, like I would have gotten in when I just said that. I would have potentially gotten in. I would have waited for it to touch this level a couple times, and I would have been in at something like this. But I wouldn't run a tight stop. I wouldn't run a stop loss like that. I would run it like that, something like that. And I'd be aiming for the 700 somewhere in this box, somewhere to top this. The real place I would really be looking at is this yellow line. I would really consider getting out of a trade once it gets to this yellow line, this where it's changed from red to green. But let's see what it does. And that would have been a break even trade. Once you get about, for me, when I trade, once you get about halfway to your take profit, I would go ahead and remove any risk like that. So this would be a break even trade. Hold on. But there's still trade opportunities here. Still trade opportunities here. Because like I said, there's a high chance it's going to want to come down and test this line. I just wasn't patient. I was looking for a trade, right? I was like, okay, this could leave without me. If you want to be patient, you can be patient and get a lot more better entries and less break evens if you're just patient. Now, okay, we can't really trade this. Unfortunately, I didn't realize what day we were on. This was a Saturday, a Friday. Um, for me, it's also a Saturday because of my time zone. But this was a Friday, so it ended up gapped. It gapped that big um, from Monday. So, but what did I say? It was going to test the 700s. We're all the way up at the 700s. There you go. But now we have a massive imbalance here. Huge imbalance. Look at this gap. Price comes and taps it, it respects it. What did we say earlier? That when price comes and taps it and respects an imbalance. Now, gaps are a little different. I don't trade Monday gaps. I hate Mondays. I actually hate Mondays. It's Mondays are just very hard to trade. But we're gonna just pretend that we took this trade. We're just gonna pretend and see what happens. We'll aim for a 1 to 2, something like that. Um, and see what price does. Okay, we get stopped out there. This is why I hate Mondays. This is such a great example. This is why I wouldn't trade this. This is just an example of what I've been teaching, but this is why I wouldn't trade this. Now, usually with a stop loss, the smarter thing to do is to put it at the bottom of the imbalance. The problem with me is I'm trading right now a 4 hour, which I don't trade. I trade 5 minute. I'm trying to just give you guys some examples of how to trade bigger time frames. But this is why I don't trade a bigger time frame like that is because you see it's 1,024 stop loss. It's just huge. For this to make sense, this trade to make sense, you would want to do that, pretty much make a trade like that. This is like a legit trade, uh, or how you should do it. Um, but you're going to be waiting hours. Each candle here represents 4 hours. So we would be waiting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far. And look, that tops perfectly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times. We'd be waiting 40 hours for this trade. I don't have the patience for that. I'm in and out. But these are just some examples on how to take advantage of, what's it called? Imbalances. That's how I took this trade. I took it on a lower time frame though. So I went down to the 5 minute and I was watching how the 5 minute was responding. I can't show you guys because it's too far back. Um, but that's the power of um, trading imbalances. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into this, just real quick, and I'm going to show you now how to trade imbalances. I just showed you how to trade it on a higher time frame. I used some trend lines to just help us with direction. I used uh, candle closures, big candle closures, like engulfing candles, to help confirm direction. Now I'm going to show you how to use imbalances on a smaller time frame. We're going to get out of this replay mode and go back to current price, what current price is. And what we're also going to do is go to this 5 minute. Now, I will have some Q&A time if you guys are still around and still keen and have some questions. And it doesn't have to be about what we talked about. It could be about anything. If we don't have any questions, that's cool as well. Um, I'm also going to show you guys how I would trade like the stock market, or different things like that, or crypto, whatever, with this. Um, but we're tracking on time fairly well. We're doing pretty good. All right, 5 minute. This is how I would trade. Now, you can kind of call this whatever you want. My mentor that I learned this from would call this splits. I, to be honest, hate trading this. I don't think it's as easy. I do trade this. I actually do trade this. Excuse me. But I hate trading it because I don't think it's as easy. My win rate isn't as high with this type of strategy. But what I do is I use it to help with certain parts of my strategy that I currently trade, which is determining when to get in and out of a trade, or more to my targets on when to get out. So all it is whenever you see um, price like this red candle here, all these red candles, that is an imbalance like we talked about already. So there is a target area. Let me come back a bit. So I'm going to show you guys, these are called splits. Um, and basically, let me go back a little bit more. So price is currently here. We're on a 5 minute time frame. So each candle represents 5 minutes. I'll show you an example. Okay, let me quickly explain a balance and an imbalance just real fast. It's a good question. Um, a balance, the reason why they're called balances and imbalances is basically we have buyers and sellers, right? And I do go into this into one of my other videos as well, a little bit more in depth, but I'll give you a quick run through. Um, we have buyers and sellers, and consolidation, what that really is just a balance. That's all that is. Price is going, okay, sellers are happy for price to be in this area, and buyers are happy for this area as well. So this is balanced out. Price is happy to be in this area. When price is just shooting upwards, that's usually an imbalance because buyers are stronger than sellers. So it's imbalance. Think of a scale, right? It's imbalanced and vice versa. But if buyers and sellers, if price is staying within a general area, it's just within this area here, it's balanced out, right? Buyers are kind of in control for like 2 seconds, and then sellers are in control. They're just fighting for control. It's not really going up or going down. It's just balanced out. It's just in one general area. That's a balance. When it's not, when it's just shooting upwards or downwards, so let's say this candle is buyers are in control and it's just shooting upwards, sellers don't have control, it's imbalanced. The scales aren't balanced out. The scales are imbalanced. So, um, so as you can see, we've got, if we're looking at price here, there's an imbalance in this area right here. Buyers were in control in this area. So I would mark this out as this area is balanced out right now. We've got a lot of, balance in this area there. Price is happy to be in this area. But if price was to go down here, there's an imbalance. Buyers were very, very much in control. So what I would be looking for is if price starts to aggressively come down, I could even jump down to a lower time frame, like a 3 minute. Once we get a candle closure below this level here, bang, I could be looking, and to be honest, I might even look at a 1 minute. I probably would be looking at a 1 minute, not a 3 minute. That's how I would actually personally trade. I would have got in on this 1 minute candle closure because we know this isn't a 5 minute imbalance here, right? So I would get in there. I'd either put my stop loss there. Usually I usually run just a 50 tick stop loss usually. But you could go there if you want to be more aggressive. And then I aim for 50 ticks. Or you could aim for the bottom of the balance. The problem though is sometimes price doesn't always come down to the very bottom of this balance. So I'd probably just aim for 50 ticks. All right. And there's how I would trade a split, basically. Now we'll go back to the 5 minute. Now splits are only, this is important, write this down if you're taking notes. Splits are only used on the 5 minute time frame. You only trade a split on the 5 minute time frame. Now, I will say this. I did use a split. I did use a split to trade that $3,500 trade that I made. I did use a split as just an added confirmation. I don't just trade it solely. I use it as added confirmation. How did I do that? I'll show you. This is why imbalances are so powerful. Why did I get in on this area here? Well, I actually went down to the lower time frame. I knew on a 4 hour time frame, this is technically kind of like a split. Now, are you supposed to trade splits on higher time frames? No, but I just used it as a higher confirmation, another confirmation to get in for a buy here. And I knew this was a big imbalance here. And I know that what price likes to fill imbalances. And so I got in. I was happy to get in, and I had an entry signal on a 5 minute time frame. Got in, and it shot up straight to my TP within 4 hours. I think it was, actually, I have a feeling I got in before this candle closed. I got in somewhere in there because I was trading a smaller time frame. I actually can't remember. No, it was something like that. Um, That's the power of balances and imbalances. They always want to fill each other. That's why price can never just move straight up or straight down because price needs to go up, fill its imbalance, and then keep pushing up in the direction it's going. Um, and so I knew this whole area needs to be filled. Remember how I made that call out saying, "Oh, there's a good chance that price is going to at least touch 7,700." I said that because look at this big imbalance that needed to be filled. That's why I said that, and that's how I got that call out. Um, Once again, power of the imbalances being filled. We had a small imbalance here that got filled. It got filled, and then what did it do? Look at this massive rejection. You could wait for it to touch one more time to give you another rejection, and once you got another rejection, you got a buy signal. And then all you're gonna do is put a stop loss underneath the lower low, which is there. And look at this massive trade you could have taken. I mean, this is a 1 to 7. Once it broke above this area, you'd be looking to scale out because you don't know how much it will continue up. It might want to come back down. Yeah, see. And but this is the power of balances and imbalances. Keep it simple. Don't get caught up. Um, don't get caught up in what's it called? No, don't be sorry for asking. I need your questions. It helps me understand maybe some of the things I'm missing while I'm teaching because some of this can be complicated and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Um, so even here, all right, let's go back. Let's go back to replay mode. So we took this trade, and as you can see, it ended up filling this balance. You could have targeted that area. I usually do. You just have to be careful. Watch it on the smaller time frame. So the confirmation, what is a split confirmation? All I do is I just identify what my splits are, right? So if price is currently here, I've got a split here because there's no we're at all because see price can this is an imbalance here. Price can go all the way up to this level. So I would be looking for either a buy above this level somewhere and targeting somewhere up there to fill this imbalance, or I would be looking at this imbalance. And you also need to check that imbalances are big enough. So this is like a 100 tick imbalance, which is a big enough imbalance to play. I'm only looking for 50 ticks. Um, and so, or I'm looking for price to come below this imbalance because you see there's a lot of green candles. There's no red in here, just straight green. And then we've got an imbalance, technically another imbalance here. So I would not play anything in this area. This is a no-go area because it's too small, right? And there's structure here. See that structure in that there and there. But I can play this area. This is another imbalance. Why? Nothing but green candles in there. So this is an imbalance area. This is not because price was balanced. It kind of bounced back and forth in this area. So I'm not going to play this area. This is a no-go zone area. Uh, do not play that area. Um, so this is I'm just going to set it up so that you guys can see the opportunities you could have. If I just got on and I just jumped on and I'm just looking at splits, I have already two trade opportunities. For me, the way I trade, I don't want to sit here all day waiting for price to come to me. Price is eventually going to come to these areas fairly soon. And I want to know whether I'm going to be in the market or not. I want to just take a trade. I'm ready to do the trade. I'm not ready to just sit around and just watch the markets for hours and hours and hours and hours. Um, so we'll wait, see what price does. Obviously, we know already that it goes below. So we could wait for a 5-minute candle closure, or You could go down to a lower time frame like we did and wait for a strong engulfing candle. We have a strong red candle, which shows a lot of seller momentum. You could place uh, your stop loss above the candle. Or the safest, remember how I talked to you guys earlier? It's the safest is to place it above the balance. Remember, this is the balance area because price is bouncing between these areas, a lot of red and green candles, a lot of structure. So you can place it above the balance. That's the safest. The problem with that though is you're gonna have to target a much bigger area because you need at least a 1 to 2 roughly if you can, or at least a 1 to 1. At least a 1 to 1, which this is still a fairly good trade, to be honest. Like this isn't a bad trade. I would say this is a great trade. But I would personally like a 1 to 2 if we could. We'll see if this hits. I actually am not sure if it does, but we'll see. So we're in this trade. We know it at least hit a 1 to 1, which is great. And then bang. This was a 1 to 2 banger. But let's go back. Why did I like this trade? Well, we have a small imbalance here. And once this broke, we could get in for more. You guys will see me say this in the chat. I'll go, I'm adding more. If there's more confirmations that there's another trade opportunity, take it. Like, take it. Don't just like be like, oh, I'm already in a trade. No, take the opportunity to get in again if you can, if you're not risking more than your risk tolerance. So I'll only get in if let's say I'm break even and I'm not risking the current trade I'm in, or I want to get a better entry position, something like that. And so here we go. Let's see. So we know this is a split. Why on the 5 minute? All this was green candles pushing up. All this was green candles. Okay. Um, we'll go down to a smaller time frame, like the 1 minute. We'll get an entry there. We're gonna play this tight. I mean, well, actually, we don't have to. We could play this above this balance here. Target a 1 to 2. And what do you know? I mean, that hits perfect. That actually hits perfect. We could have targeted the bottom of this balance, but remember how I said there's not a guarantee that it will always fill the bottom of the balance? There's never a guarantee. You could target that. I mean, we could see. I have a feeling that we would just hit break even, to be honest, because at this point we would be break even. Yeah. So we'd hit a break even trade. And then this is where price is currently at. There's a good chance that it's going to want to fill this balance. Imbalance, sorry, this imbalance. So mark my words, I could be wrong. I could be wrong because we're kind of in an uptrend, but I would be willing to bet that price might open up somewhere down here. There's going to be on Monday or Sunday. I think it opens for you guys on Sunday at some point. Sunday, yeah. So once Sunday comes, I'm willing to bet that's going to probably want to fill this gap. So it probably opens somewhere down here since we're kind of moving down, and it's going to want to it's still this gap hasn't really gone up above this level. So there's a good chance I'm willing to guess probability that price will open up somewhere down here. See if I'm right on Sunday. We'll see. I could be wrong, but that's just taking a guess from what price is showing me. All right, guys, we're going so well on time. I've given you guys so much content to work with. Um, a lot of content to work with. If you have more questions, please let me know because there's not much more to really talk about when it comes to splits and stuff like that. But the key take home from this is price loves to fill imbalances. It loves to fill imbalances. We've got another imbalance down here, right? Because there's just one green candle. So how big is this imbalance? It's decent. It's almost 150 ticks. I'm only looking for 50 tick moves. That's it. Um, so yeah, like I was saying earlier, price could come down here or down here, open up somewhere down here with a big gap. That's what I would be guessing for Sunday. Okay, so as a newbie, where would I go to practice trades? What you could do is this is called TradingView. And so I would create tradingview.com, put it in the chat. You go to tradingview.com and create a free account. It doesn't need to be paid. Now, I will say if you start paying for a monthly subscription, it does help because you get this thing called replay mode here, where you can kind of like go back in time and practice. And what you could do is click replay mode. I'm gonna go ahead and clear all my stuff. You can go down here once you click replay mode. Instead of selecting a bar, you could go random select date. You select a date or click random bar, and it will randomly put you. And so you have no idea what price is gonna do. So this is random. So let's take a trade. Let's see what we can do. This is how you can practice. Um, Great question. I'll get back to you in a sec. Basically, this is a random area, so this is how you can practice. It does cost, I think, like $10 a month or something like that, or $15 a month or 12, somewhere in there. It's not too expensive. And you get this replay mode action. And so you can go back and kind of practice here. So let's just do a quick practice and see if we can take like a practice trade. The other thing you can do is get a broker. So I trade now. I'm in America, so I'm in Australia, so you guys uh, can't trade with this broker. I'll be completely honest. I don't trade. I mainly trade prop firms, which I'm about to talk about. Um, but this is one of my just basic trading accounts where I don't really risk much money, and I don't trade it very often, to be honest. I don't trade this very often. Um, but what you can do is get a broker, and there's many different brokers out there. You can Google brokers. To be honest, people get so caught up on, hey, what broker should I trade? I don't know what broker to trade. Where should I put my money? The main thing is are they regulated? So just Google, is this broker regulated? But this is what you do. Is I'm with IC Markets. It's the same thing. Brokers all do the same thing pretty much. You just put your money, you deposit some money with them, and then um, however, there's different ways you can do it. And then I trade with C Trader. This is my account. I'm probably should not be showing these numbers, but that's okay. I've got about 6K in there. Um, it also depends what you're trading. So um, if you're trading forex, futures, whatever, which I would recommend maybe starting with forex for now. But what you can do, sorry, let me finish my thought. I'm answering Melissa's question. What you can do is go on here and create a demo account and pretty much select how much money you want to put in and then connect it to TradingView, this platform. So you can go to this platform. I have a video for this, by the way. It's in my Discord called Brokers and what is it? Broker and Platform. It's the second video to watch. So that will kind of walk you through how to set that up as well. So you can do that. But you can do a demo account. And so I would, to not get caught up in like putting money in a broker and all that, I would just first off stick with this. So let's just quickly give this as an example. So we have the daily time frame. We got a bit of resistance here. We're in an uptrend, overall uptrend, as we can see somewhere. I'm just roughly doing this very quickly. Um, and then we've got another trend line there that we just bounced off of. So right now, this is what I would call like a wedge. Prices being what I would say squeezed. So if you're ever in Discord and you see me say something like, "Oh, price is being squeezed right now," I love when price is being squeezed because usually once price is squeezed, it's like think of consolidation as like it's like loading up for a big move and think of like squeeze like a wedge as doing the same. It's being loaded for a big move either to the up or downside. And so this is the daily time frame. Let's jump down to a 4 hour, see what the 4 hours doing. We got a bit of a close there. For me, I would probably honestly be looking for sells more than anything because we have a rejection on that trend line, but I wouldn't be looking. This is a big move. I'd be going on a smaller time frame. Let's see what the small time frame is doing. So we're at that resistance level. We've got a massive imbalance down here below. We have a few options here. We could be patient and wait for this imbalance, right? Why did I not put it like here on that body? Well, because there's a lot of wicks here, which shows me that price could just wick down and push up again. And also because there's just some structure. These wicks could, there's a little bit of structure here. This is more clean. So we could wait for price to come down here. This is the more safer bet is to look for an entry somewhere down here. So we'll go ahead and say this is green to go. Or we could be looking for potentially a break above this trend line and a retest. Um, I mean, to me, price, if I was to get in now, if I was to get in now, I personally would be looking for sells because we got a bit of a resistance here. We also know it's close to this trend line. And um, I do have some indicators. I'll get into those. Honestly, you guys are asking really good questions. Okay. I'll get into that as well. Um, this area I would say is probably a no-go trade zone. Okay, I'm just gonna take a risk here. We'll take a risk here. And we'll see what price does. What day are we on? It's good to know as well. Saturday. Okay, so we need to wait for Monday. See how Monday opens up. Okay, we're on Monday now. So we have a whole week to trade here. That's good. So if I was wanting to be aggressive, um, I missed the trading opportunity. I would have taken a sell somewhere here. And I was about to say it. That's why I say it. That's why I said I was looking for sells. The reason why I didn't say I was 100% going to get in is because price could come back and retest this level first. But we're going to play it safe. I'm showing you guys what it is to be patient. Sometimes being more patient. I wanted to just get in for a sell right then and there because I'm an aggressive trader. I can look at the market and just go, okay, there's a good chance it's going to go a certain direction. That's what I wanted to say. That's why I said I'm looking for sells. That's what I would have taken was a sell somewhere in here. But the stop loss would have had to be pretty big. That's why I didn't get in right away. But once I saw kind of like a rejection on a lower time frame, I probably would have got in somewhere in here. Also because we didn't get a closure above this wick, which is another thing we can talk about later. This is more advanced. Because there was not a candle closure above that wick, that confirms to me we're in sells as well. I'm not going to say why because that's a lot more advanced. But um, this would have been a good trade here. I would have won this trade. Anyways, I'm still going to take a trade. I'm going to show you guys a live trade. Let's see. Play it safe. See, what did I say? What did I say? There's a good chance price is going to retest this level here. Um, now, once we got, unfortunately, I didn't stop it quick enough. Once we got in, we could have placed a trade there, stop loss above that level, and aim for this bottom split to be filled. And what happened? The split got filled. That would have been a 1 to 2.4. So if I risked a grand, I would have made 2,500 on that trade. But let's actually wait for a trade that we would take without knowing what price is doing. This is very quick trading. I would be looking for sells again. Oh my god. Okay, we're not getting sells now, obviously. What did I say about this trend line? Sorry guys, I'm going through this too quick to be able to actually place trades. It's fast forwarding too fast. But here's another trade opportunity from the things that I taught today. We could even just wait for that there, a big engulfing candle. It is a big stop loss. I'd probably do 50 tick stop loss, probably 100 because of how quick it's moved. The reason why there's such a big candle here is this could have been news, yeah, at 12:30, or it could be the Asian Open. Um, that's why we had such a big spike in price movement. Now, here we'd be only looking for like a 1 to 2. Let's see if it hits. There we go. There's a trade there. Why would we take a trade like this? Well, it came back, retested that level, which tells me that price is respecting it to continue up. We had a strong engulfing candle. We could have done a 50 tick stop loss, but and that would have been a lot quicker of a win somewhere in here. And we could have held it for a bigger reward, which is 1 to 5.5, which is if we would have risked 1,000, we would have made 5,500. But the reason why I didn't do 50 ticks, I wanted to give it more breathing room. Um, and I did 100 ticks just because price was a bit crazy and moving pretty aggressive. And so it could just wick and then move in my direction. So I wanted to just give it the space. I was just being safer. Hope that makes sense. But that's exactly what we looked for. Remember, we said we're either looking for a sell below here or we're looking for a buy above this trend line and retest. Trend line break and retest on this 5 minute. So that's how you can practice. That's just me practicing. That's how I would go back and back test. Can I tell you, practicing is like the most important thing. Don't watch a video and get excited. When you watch a video and it looks really simple and easy, like I'm doing now, you might go, I can do this. This is easy. No problem. It, I'm making it look easy. It's like watching a skateboarder who is a professional skateboarder skate, and you watch them. And sometimes when you're watching someone like a good singer or a skateboarder, you think, oh, that's easy. I could do that. And then once you actually like get on the board and try to skate, um, then you start to realize it's not as easy as it seems. This stuff looks so simple, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for everyone because I genuinely think that anyone can trade. It does take practice, it does take work. Um, but uh, I want to encourage you, don't just get 10K or your life savings and throw it into the market and just think, oh, I can flip this in a week. It doesn't work like that. Trust me, it does not work like that. You're going to lose money and you're going to be chasing me down going, Micah, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not that I don't know what I'm talking about, it's that you need to practice. And I'm not going to be a mentor. You know, a lot of mentors, they're trying to make money as well by teaching people. Um, I'm just not gonna be the mentor that tells you what you want to hear to try to make money off of you. I wanna build a reputation where I actually build successful traders. That's my goal. Um, and I want people to, when we're finished, or when I've taught people, I want people to actually go, I've actually gotten value from him, and it's not just him trying to make money off of me. So, um, I'm gonna tell you guys straight and tell you the truth. All right, next question. Not for retail customers. I was gonna do I've never heard of Fidelity. It could be because 'cause I'm in Australia. Um, there are a lot of brokers that don't integrate with TradingView. To be honest, NinjaTrader, I don't think does. I don't use when I trade off NinjaTrader probably more than I see markets, and I just trade off of MT5, and then just have I just I just put like trading view on one side to watch and to draw on my charts, and then I put NinjaTrader on the other one. Um, Oh, it does. Oh, no, sorry. The reason why I do that is because I'm lazy and IC Markets is already connected to TradingView, and I hate swapping between the 2. That's excuse me, guys, I've been a bit sick. That's why. It's not actually because of that, it's because I'm lazy. Um, you're right, Josh. Excuse me, sorry. Um, hey, Micah, do you use much indicators in your trades? I don't, but I do. I do. Okay, I do, but I wouldn't call them indicators. They're more volume indicators, and I'll quickly show you guys what that is. We'll do a real in-depth one later with this as well. Um, so this is how I trade. This is what my screen looks like usually. I have the 5 minute on this side, the 1 minute on this side, and then I've got usually on this side. I must have taken it off. What is this? Oh, my volume indicator. I don't use that as much anymore, but it is really helpful. I'll go in depth on this one later, but this is a really good indicator. I don't use indicators like, oh, this is where you should buy, this is where you should sell. It's rubbish, doesn't work. People will lie to you. You'll go on YouTube and see a million YouTube videos on indicators. Can I tell you? Can you make money using indicators? I do think you can, but usually people that are trading indicators aren't just using indicators, they're using experience as well. And so when you see people making money with indicators, it's not just indicators. It it's rubbish. If they say that they're using indicators, they're lying to you. I'm just being straight up, straight to the point. That is a lie. If they try to say to you guys that you can buy this bot and make this amount of money, absolute scam, absolute lie. Do not take it. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care if people are saying, "Oh, this is 100% win rate, 90% win rate," or "Look at these reviews or these people." It is a scam and it is a lie because the truth is this: if it looks too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And if someone says, "Oh, it's a 90% win rate bot," they don't need to sell that to you. They would keep that to themselves. There's no point giving it to other people. If you're gonna win 90% of the time, now my win rate is 89%, which is a high win rate. But I could not make a bot out of how I trade. I have to use a lot of experience, past knowledge, different things like that, to have such a high win rate that I have. It's not black and white. Traders do not talk about this enough. Trading isn't just Trading isn't just a strategy. There's also intuition and practice that goes into it. You get intuition from the practice that you put in. Traders won't talk about this because they can't sell that. That's the truth. Like, I'm telling you guys the straight truth. Traders will not tell you this. There's always intuition that comes into trading, right? Always intuition. There's nothing that is black and white. Um, that will give you a great win rate. I do know a trader, I will say this, there is a professional trader that I do know that has a pretty black and white trading strategy. I still think there's a bit of intuition that comes into it. Now you can try to make it really structured and black and white, your strategy, and like, okay, you get in when price does this, 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 and this, but I still believe there's always a little bit of intuition that helps you execute the trade. Um, So, but unfortunately, a lot of traders can't sell intuition, so they won't talk about it much. That's partly why I'm s I'm selling one-on-one mentorships because to me, one-on-one mentorship is what changed my trading. And I'm not saying that to sell that to you guys. I'm just saying it to actually be completely transparent and honest. I do think if you wanna be successful in trading, Can you be successful in trading just by watching my YouTube videos? Yes. I think it'll take you a lot longer. I think having someone like a mentor that can kind of help really expedite your trading journey, that's what did it for me. I'm just being transparent and honest. That's what did it for me. Was actually being able to talk to a trader and even like what you guys are getting for free right now, ask questions in the chat and all that. But whenever you get someone that can actually watch how you're trading and go, wait, why'd you do that? Or hey, did you think about this? It revolutionizes your trading. Um, Now, these are the indicators I use. Sorry, I'm getting off track. These are the indicators that I use. I use the VWAP session. Um, and here's my settings. If I post this up on YouTube, you can just copy them, go back in and copy them. The VWAP, upper band one, all these bands, these are the colors. Here's the inputs that I have for them. Um, there you go. And what this basically is, I'm not going to go into it too much, but all this is just showing me volume. All I use is volume indicators. It shows me when there's a lot of people in the market trading. That's basically it. I'll use this indicator to show me different session times, but that's not really like an indicator to help you trade or place trades. And then I'll use this indicator a lot. Back in the day, I don't use it as much, but once again, it's just volume. It's just to help me see balances, imbalances. It's kind of like a footprint of the market or chart. I will say I use this as well. Um, I use what we call Bookmap. I'm not going to go into it. I don't use it all the time. I have made a lot of money using Bookmap, but you can get it for free on YouTube. You just type in Bookmap live, and someone will be live streaming it. So all good, Melissa. Thanks for joining in. We're gonna finish up anytime now as well, so you won't miss out too much. But I appreciate you joining, and hopefully this helped you. If you have more questions, feel free to drop it in the Discord, and I want to help you guys. And I can make things simpler as well. Um, this is really in depth that we're kind of getting into. I can show you guys how to literally just go to stocks, for instance, and just look at a stock and hold something long term by looking at a chart. But this stuff is stuff that can really help you even with that over time as well. Um, what was the other question? Yeah, so these are the indicators. Um, this is partly why I took the trade yesterday as well. I was looking at this indicator. Um, Price was, you know, hanging out above this red band. And I took this trade not just because of this, but it was another confirmation, and I targeted this blue line. I would have called this the other day and said, "Oh, I'm looking for it to hit up to the 900s," and it's exactly what it did. I think this was the home run trade I said people could take as well. Like, this could be a home run if you take it, but we only took, I think, 50 takes, something like that. But yeah, this would have been a home run. What times are you usually trading and what days? I usually trade Sydney time after work. You can trade my strategy any time and any day, Monday to Friday. I don't like Mondays because Mondays, like I showed you guys earlier, are just like very wicky. Like they'll kind of like wick down and then end up going the direction. As you guys saw, we ended up getting stopped out on one of the fake trades that I did just then. Um, but then it ended up hitting my take profit. It barely wicked us out. That's just because it's Monday. That's just how Mondays are. Mondays would be, I think, Sundays for you. I'm a day ahead. Um, so I think it would be like when the market reopens after being closed on the weekend. It can be very wicky and not very, yeah, stable. I trade NAS. You can trade my strategies on anything. Um, I started off in Forex, foreign exchange, and then moved to futures, which is NAS, mainly because I wanted to take advantage of prop firms. What oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to answer your question. Um, the platform I use is Top Step. So I use Top Step. I got paid out last week 5,000 US dollars from them. I have proof I can show you. I made 5K. I actually made 12K in 2 weeks on this prop firm. I made 12K in 2 weeks. You can only get paid up to 5K though, paid out up to 5K. So I got paid out 5K, and I'm totally happy to show you guys. Um, oh wait, I don't think you can see that. Hold on. Stop sharing. So I got paid 5 out. You can see it says top step trader. This is like legit. It's not a screenshot. I got paid 4,998 because there's some $2 fees or something. Um, that's my bank account, my Wise bank account. And then unfortunately, I was sick. This was the week I was talking about. I was sick and tired and bored, and I had about 7K left in my account or something, and I risked it all and lost the account. So I'm creating another account. I did not even trade my strategy at all. I was just literally bored out of my mind, sick, tired, and was making awful decisions. Awful decisions. And this happens with even professional traders. You got to control your emotions. Nas more of a stable way of trading and making profits. Oh, sorry. What time do you usually trade? I trade usually around like I found I've been more profitable around 9 p.m. Sydney time, which is when you guys are probably sleeping. But that's pre-market, pre-open, pre-New York Open. But I usually trade New York Open as well. I just like trading pre-New York so I can go to bed early. There's not really you can trade anytime my strategy. It doesn't really matter. You'd be in and out of trades quicker after around New York Open. So if you want to, I definitely would have to hold a bit longer for my trades to hit. Um, if I'm trading pre New York, but yeah, I'm usually trading around 9, 10 p.m. Sydney time, which is an hour and a half to 2 hours before New York Open. Nas, uh, Nas, and I trade every day. I usually trade every day unless I'm just doing something and too busy to trade. Nas more of a stable way of trading. So sorry, I keep jumping back. I have ADHD, guys. Sorry. On Mondays, I know Mondays are crazy, so I adjust, which is intuition. Once again, that I talked about earlier. I know Mondays are crazy, so I adjust the way that I trade, and I've found myself to be more successful on Mondays. I do lose more usually on Mondays, but I've found myself to be more successful on Mondays, just because I've adjusted to it. Nas more of a stable way of trading and making profits. Really, it doesn't matter what you trade. There's no real such thing as like something's more stable or not. Some markets move differently. That is the truth. You know, like Euro USD is a lot slower to trade in Forex. Moves a lot slower. I like NAS because I'm looking for small moves and you can risk a bit more. I'm an aggressive trader, so I like I just think NAS you can trade pretty aggressive. I'll trade either NAS or the US 30. Those are if you don't have US 30, it's called YM as well. It's another or Dow Jones. It's another way it's called. Um, how much funding do they provide? So with Top Step, there's a few options. You pay 50 bucks. I'm actually in an account now. I made 1,500 yesterday, but I trade this really aggressive. I'll show you my dashboard. Hopefully, there's no sensitive information. Oh, I lost money on purpose. That's why. So here, I'll explain why. I was like, I don't think I lost a trade, but I lost a trade on purpose, which is technically winning a trade because I did it on purpose, but whatever. Doesn't matter. So my win rate percentage is actually 100%, but I had to lose on purpose. When it says 6 trades, that's actually not true. It was only 2 trades that I took. It's just I may have like entered a couple times on one single trade, if that makes sense. The other day I traded and it said I had like 64 trades. And I was like, I don't remember trading that much. It's just because I was entering contracts separately instead of one whole order, if that makes sense. Um, so I made 14, I took one trade. Um, so I took 7 trades, but I didn't. Uh, that's why, because I entered in multiple within one, but multiple. This was one trade, but I entered multiple, if that makes sense, multiple times. Um, and what I did was made I yeah, so you pay $50 for an an evaluation account, which I'm doing right now, and you can't make more than 1,500 in a day. So I made 1,480, and I like to get it as close to 1,500 as possible. And so then I took another $50 trade. I actually posted that on my Instagram. So this is the account. You can watch it on my Instagram, on my stories. Then took another $50 trade, won that, and then I was up 1520. The problem is you're not allowed to have more than $1,500, so I had to intentionally lose money. So I intentionally lost $27 to get under $1,500. Because if you're over $1,500, then you got to make that up times 2, I think, in the next day, and it just makes it harder in the long run. So you'd rather just lose money, and just keep it under 1,500. So that's day 1. I've passed for day 1. And then I gotta make 1,500 again on day 2, which I will next week. And then I get a funded account. Then you pay $150 US dollars. So you're paying basically $200. So for example, I paid $200 to get my previous account. Excuse me. I've been talking so much, I need some water. Sorry. I paid $200 on my previous account, but got 5 grand from them. Guys, I'm gonna grab water. One sec. Sorry, guys. Okay. I paid 200 US dollars and made 5,000 off of them. So I'm only risking. That's why I don't like trading my own accounts that I got the 6K in, because I'm risking 6K, but with a prop firm, hold on, babies. I'm in a meeting. Watch out. Oh, thank you. Okay, watch out. Watch your hand. My girls just brought me some water, but um thanks, babe. So, um I risked $200. Oh my god, my voice. I've been sick, so my voice is struggling with this much talking. I risked $200 and made 5K. So they provide up to like, let's see, 150K, looks like. No, I think they can do bigger sizes too, I think. But you pay $50 for an eval, you need to make 3K profit, and then you can only do 5 contracts, maximum loss limit 2K, and etc. Um, but yeah, sorry guys. That's that. Any last questions? We'll probably finish up at least in the next 5 minutes, unless no one has any more questions. Hopefully, it was helpful, and I appreciate you guys joining in. I know it's a lot of content and can be really boring, but I mean, with trading, um, it takes a lot of investment. I'll be honest, like this isn't a get rich quick scheme. You know, you'll look at me, you look at other traders and think, oh, I can make 5K in 2 weeks or 12K in 2 weeks. The thing is, I've spent a lot of money to learn. You know, I've paid for mentors. Excuse me, I paid for courses. It is hard for me to believe like you can be successful to the level you want to be unless if you don't get a mentor or someone that can kind of coach you because it's just like college. If you go to college and you expect to be a lawyer, you're not going to be a lawyer unless you have a teacher that's really teaching you and guiding you along the journey. And so it does cost a bit of money to like get going. And many traders won't tell you this. They'll just say, watch my videos so they can get their views up or, you know, whatever. um, it will cost money, and I do think if it's something that you wanna get into, it doesn't have to be with me, I don't have to be your mentor, but I would recommend finding a mentor, getting someone that, you trust and believe is legit, and, um, there's a lot of people that look legit and aren't, um, but at the end of the day, uh, find someone that, has learned a few things, know a few things, and can kind of coach you. Um, and the good thing is that as well is, with coaching, even if let's say they're not $1 million trader, like I'm not $1 million trader yet, at the end of the day, I can definitely get you to a place or any trader can get you. I guess is what I'm saying. Even if you get a mentor that isn't necessarily someone like the Wolf of Wall Street or how do you say it? $1 million trader, I think it's still beneficial, whether it's me or someone else that knows how to trade, for them to actually teach you how to trade because it just instills, I can't really explain it. It just instills this confidence in you as a trader that you may have not had before. And whenever I would get with my mentor and uh, or do sessions like this with people where I could ask questions. It just instilled a lot of confidence in me. And the biggest thing about trading is not actually just copying me. You know, a lot of people get stuck in that. They'll just copy pro traders or copy people that know what they're doing and take their trades, which is helpful. But then you don't know why you took the trade. Like you want to be built as someone that takes their own trades, and the way to do that is you got to get confident. You got to have confidence instilled in you. And so, I think a big thing to get confidence is having someone alongside you. That's just the truth. Doing it by yourself is too difficult. I tried it. It didn't really start clicking for me until I had a mentor. And I'm not saying this to sell my stuff. I'm saying this even if you find someone cheaper than me or someone else, do it. Give it a go. I would definitely say stick to one-on-one mentoring if you can. Group stuff like this has been okay. Like it definitely helps. It's definitely better than watching a YouTube video. But I would say what unlocked it for me was one-on-one mentoring where someone, was with me and said, "Hey," I zoomed in with someone and was like, "This is where I'm at. What's my next step? Tell me straight." And then watched me take trades, or I could watch them take trades and ask them exactly what they're thinking in the exact moment. And then there's even little moments where I would ask a question, and the one question that I never thought I needed unlocked it for me. Like that's that's the honest truth. That's how I started becoming more successful in trading, was just having a mentor. So don't underestimate the power of that. And I'm kind of giving it away for free. You can ask questions in my Discord. I'm happy to help. So like I said, I'm not trying to sell you my stuff. Take advantage of what I'm doing for free. And I'm just trying to my goal out of all this is to be honest and be transparent, um, and show people you can do this and be successful. So hopefully this helps, guys. And my goal is to build real traders, real traders that know how to trade